What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So I thought I'd do a quick video about the new proposals for the European Super League and just my thoughts on it and whether I agree with it or not. So it was announced yesterday that new proposals have been put forward for a European Super League, 14 games guaranteed a season, and they want to try again. So they tried it a year and a half ago, the Super League. It was a closed shop competition. So your Man United, your Chelsea's, your PSG's. PSG were invited, but they turned it down. So Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham, along with some of the teams from Spain, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atletico. Then you had the Italian teams, so like Inter, AC Milan and Juve. They were all involved in this whole Super League thing last year. All the fans didn't like it. All the fans rioted against it, and it fell to pieces. Well, they've tried it again. I knew this was going to come back. I knew they were going to try and do this again. 80 to 60 teams involved, with divisions 1 to 4 of this new revamped European Super League. And I just don't agree with it. I just think it's wrong. It's all about money. It's not about sport and integrity. They're saying that it's not going to be a member-only competition, so it's not a closed shop anymore like it was the first time. So it won't be the same teams every year, but it would be, because Man United would qualify for it every year. Liverpool would qualify every year. Arsenal would qualify every year. So really, it would be the same teams all the time. 80 teams, again, that's just ridiculous. How's it going to fit around the Premier League? They're saying that it wouldn't take over the Premier League. You would still have the Premier League, but this would just I presume this would replace the Champions League, which again, I don't like. But yeah, I just think it's stupid. It's all about money. They keep saying that it will benefit everybody, it will save football. Well, it won't, because it will only benefit the big clubs. It won't benefit everybody else. Which I don't like. The Premier League gets paid too much money as it is. They're getting paid twice as much as everybody else. That's why Barcelona and Real Madrid are still involved with this Super League thing, because they can't compete financially, because La Liga doesn't get the same focus as the Premier League does. But that's not down to the Premier League. It's not down to them. It's down to to Sky, BT, pumping all this money into the Premier League. That is the real Super League. It basically is the Super League, the Premier League already. In terms of finance, they get paid so much more than the rest of us do. In our leagues, our leagues are not as appealing. It's true, they're not. I don't like it. 14 games a season, that's what they're saying. But that's a lie, because they'll be saying, okay, well, Man United versus Barcelona in New York City on Sky Box Office on a Sunday night, you've got to pay 20 quid to watch it. So they'll be charging us even more money. As expensive as it is for everybody at the moment. To watch Sky and BT with Sky Sports every single year, that's dear as it is. You've got Amazon now as another platform for everything. We don't get live games at 3 o'clock in the afternoon in this country. In Germany, they show the Premier League games. We don't in this country. Everyone's got a lot illegally stream to find any football at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday, for example. And yet they want to charge us even more money for this. It's just ridiculous. I really don't want it. I don't like it. Like I said, 80 teams. So you're talking about all the rankings of each team and how they do in European competition. It's going to be based on performance. So like Liverpool, for example, at the moment, they wouldn't qualify for the Super League if they took place next season, because they've had a terrible season at 8th or 9th in the Premier League. Chelsea as well had a bad season. So they wouldn't qualify for the Super League, for example. Fulham and Newcastle would, because they're in the top 8, so they would be able to qualify for that or something. I don't actually know how it would work, this whole Super League in performance, you're straight in sort of thing. It wouldn't benefit anybody. It wouldn't benefit the supporter, the working class supporter who goes every week. It wouldn't benefit any of us, but it would benefit the tourist fan, obviously. All due respect to the tourist fans, I've got nothing against tourist fans. It's hard for them to get to the games. Obviously, they barely go to the games because they live in other countries and stuff. But even they don't want it. Most tourist fans don't like this idea. A22 are the organisation fronting this Super League second proposal. I don't like it. I don't want it to happen. I don't think it will happen. I think there's restrictions in place for the Premier League. The Premier League clubs can't be involved anyway because they're not members of the European Union, and also they've got a obligation with the Premier League that they can't just walk out on the Premier League, which is fair enough. You know, they would want to, but they're not going to be able to. You know, other clubs will be asked to go as well, like smaller teams with big fan bases. You talk about Porto, Benfica, Sporting Lisbon, Young Boys, Celtic, Rangers. If Celtic and Rangers are both invited, they'll both take the offer, which I don't want. Because, you know, fair enough, they would get more money and more better players, and, you know, players would stay and stuff, and they would get out of their, you know, potentially they would get out of Scottish football, but still at the same time, you know, that's not a fair way of doing it, I don't think. You know, I don't want Celtic involved in this whole Super League nonsense. I really don't want us playing in the Super League at all. You know, unfortunately, I think we should just stay where we are. Unfortunately, I think that's the only way forward. As annoying as it is for all the other Scottish clubs. Pardon me. But, yeah, I don't want the Super League. It won't happen. I don't think this is ever going to get off the ground. It's pie in the sky, really. The fact they think they can still push us through. I know Real Madrid's president, Florentino Perez, he's really obsessed with this whole Super League idea. It's all because they just can't compete with the Premier League. The Premier League's got all the money, you know, too much money. They have got too much money. I will say they've got too much. You know, they're earning twice as much as La Liga does from their broadcasting rights and things like that. I understand that, but at the same time, it's not down to the clubs. That's down to the TV companies. You know, and, you know, it's just a way to replace the Champions League. You know, the Champions League new format is coming in next season. Again, I don't like that. That's basically the Super League. The way that, you know, more teams in the bloody Champions League next season, you know, doesn't make any logical sense. I don't like the Conference League. I think once you've had your shot at the Champions League and Europa League, that should be it. But then we had to add another competition, the UEFA Conference League last season. Why did we have to add that? That's a pointless competition. Nobody's interested in the Conference League. I mean, Tottenham were in the Conference League and they didn't even win it, and nobody was really interested when they were in it either last season. In the final, I don't know who the final was in the Conference League, but no one cared about it. I think Roma won it. But really, can a Roma fan really say they were happy about being in the Conference League? Absolutely not. Or whoever it was won it. I can't remember exactly who won it. You know, so many problems with football at the moment. It's not the same as it used to be. The money's ruined everything. It has ruined everything. It's become more about what's going on off the pitch than on the pitch, in my opinion. UEFA aren't angels. You know, they've got their problems. They're corrupt and everything. I do think we will get a Super League eventually. Well, that's basically what we're going to get with the Champions League. It's basically going to become the Super League. So we're getting it anyway in UEFA form. You know, but you know, I don't want us going to like Abu Dhabi and playing Rangers in front of 50,000 people at 4 o'clock in the morning. You've got to pay 20 quid a time to watch it, and then Man United play Barcelona in Arizona the week after. No, I don't agree with that at all. The owners need to get a grip. You know, it's all the American ones like Kroenke, the Glazers. The Glazers are trying to sell Man United. You know, will they, with this Super League idea, will they really sell Man United? That's another question for another day. You know, Man City are involved. And Man City have been hit with all these financial fair play penalties, potentially. And yet this comes along. It's quite convenient for City, really. You know, will they then jump back into the Super League? You know, all these teams withdrew. Like Man City and Chelsea, they were involved in the Super League. And so were Arsenal, Liverpool, Tottenham. You know, they were all involved. And then they all jumped out of the Super League when the fans revolted against it. The only teams that remained in it were Barcelona, Real Madrid and Juventus. They're all still involved in the Super League. You know, Barcelona because they want the money, because they're financially broke. So Real Madrid can't compete financially. And Juventus, they've got problems financially as well. And, you know, match fixing and everything like that with Juventus. You know, that's the reason they're in the Super League, this whole Super League project. You know, I can't see it happening. I really don't think it's going to happen. Why we're even talking about this is beyond me. It really is annoying. I don't want the Super League. I'm against it. You know, I'm against the European British Super League as well. That was nothing that was suggested a couple of years ago with Celtic and Rangers and everything like that. Playing against the English clubs. I don't like that idea. It is the way it is. I think we should keep the Champions League the way it is. I like the Champions League where you get 2 teams go through. You've got a team that goes into the Europa League and the 4th team goes out. I think that's a fair way of doing it. But yeah, I don't like this idea. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below about this whole Super League idea. It's all about money. As I said, they don't care about anybody, all these owners. All they care about is their pockets and themselves. You know, they don't care about the working class fan. And why should we let them make a Super League? We shouldn't let them do it. But yeah, let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Take care, and I'll see you guys whenever I make another video. Cheers, peace.